Hey guys, I'm Pixel Dan, and this is a review of the Masters of the Universe Classics, Shadow Weaver. Back at San Diego Comic-Con, Mattel announced that they had finally acquired the rights to be able to produce action figures of characters that were created by Filmation for the animated series. This opened up a whole new world of possibilities, and Mattel immediately acted on this by creating one of the most fan-demanded figures in the history of Masters of the Universe, Shadow Weaver. So now that she's here, let's check her out. Shadow Weaver comes in the standard Masters of the Universe Classics packaging, complete with the Evil Horde logo sticker on the front. The back shows off several other figures from the line, along with the new 30th anniversary logo. We also get a brand new bio for Shadow Weaver. Shadow Weaver is an excellent representation of the character from the Princess of Power cartoon series. Her face is completely black, hidden by shadows under her cloak, with only her yellow eyes peering through. There is a little bit of detail on that head sculpt, though. Her robes are a pretty dark red and actually match up with the color of Orko, which is actually just like the cartoon series, so I honestly think that's a pretty cool touch. Her hands are a very pale green. In fact, they're so pale they're almost white. Alright, the first Filmation character, the first official Filmation character in the line, Shadow Weaver, one of the most fan-demanded figures ever. So let's take a close look at exactly what we've got here. Now, Shadow Weaver is very unique because she's got herself a brand new body pretty much all the way through and through. So let's check out how some of her articulation works. Now, the head is the same kind of head that we have before. You can see that it does just pop off there. The black head that we see underneath is a separate head underneath the hood. You could probably get it out if you really wanted to squeeze it out of there, because it is separate. It's not glued in there or anything like that. But it's the same kind of ball joint that just pops right on there. And she rotates all around. Really nice, good articulation. She's got a little bit of a gap in between there that actually allows her to roll around, but it doesn't look bad, I don't think. I think it fits perfect, you know, and if you're worried about that gap being too big, you can just kind of position the head so that there's not as much of a gap there. Not that big of a deal. Her arms do have the wrist articulation, the elbow, the bicep, the shoulder. Now, the cool thing about this is she does have herself a little cape, and the cape flows out and is attached to her arms. So, just to show you how this works, the cape is made of a really soft plastic. This is like the softest plastic cape I've seen in the Masters Classics line so far. I kind of wish more of them were like this so that they didn't really hinder articulation too much, because this one actually works out really good. Now, it's attached to her back and then also attached to her biceps on her arms. Now, the cool thing about this is that it allows her to still be able to swivel her biceps completely around. And you can see that the cape just flows right with it. Doesn't hinder the articulation at all. You can move her shoulders up. You can move her shoulders out in front of her. You can move her shoulders backwards. That cape really doesn't get in the way at all. It actually works really nicely. You can see her arms go straight out to the side. It does tug a little bit because the cape's shorter, but honestly, this works out really, really well. And after looking at the Sorceress, it really kind of drives home that I think if they would have attached those wings to the bicep like they did with Shadow Weaver here, it might have worked a little better. Now, granted, Sorceress has hard plastic wings. Shadow Weaver's got a softer cape. That does make a difference. But I think Shadow Weaver does prove that this method works out really well. I think this was very well done. Now, she does kind of have that thing going on where the part of the cape that flows off of her forearms is a harder plastic. So you are going to have instances where if you bend her arms out, it's sticking straight out. And obviously that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But, you know, it's minor, I think. That's something that you just kind of have to count on in an action figure unless she was wearing a fully cloth outfit or something like that. Now, another thing that makes this figure unique from the other ones is she doesn't actually have legs. She actually is just a solid plastic piece to mimic the flowing robes as she appeared in the animated series. Now, she also comes with this cool little clear stand that makes it look like she's floating. And the stand is removable. And you can see the underside here. It is just solid plastic all the way through. And you just got the little peg hole. So you just pop the little clear stand in there, and she's ready to go. It's such a really cool way to do it. It's a much better option than actually giving her legs, because we never saw Shadow Weaver's legs. She always just kind of hovered across the ground. So honestly, I think this is a brilliant way to do Shadow Weaver. And I think she actually turned out pretty terrific. Shadow Weaver includes a wand accessory. It's got a completely transparent orb sitting on top and is easily held in her right hand. It's made of a good sturdy plastic, so it's not too pliable. She also includes this awesome looking spell book. It's just a solid piece of plastic, but it's got a really cool design, colored green and gold. Shadow Weaver doesn't really hold the book very well, though. With a little work, you can find a way to get her to hold it under her arm, so if you want to pose her with it, it is doable. Shadow Weaver is an excellent figure who, in my opinion, was pulled off perfectly. She's excellent as the first Filmation character, and it's really cool because she also fills out other classifications at the same time. She's a new Princess of Power character, and she's a new member of your evil horde. Her accessories are really neat, including her stand, which makes it look like she's hovering above the ground. I love that. And it's just an awesome feeling to finally have this dreadful witch on our toy shelf. Shadow Weaver is only available as the subscription bonus for those who signed up for the 2012 Eternian Collectors Club subscription, and will be shipping out in March. If you do not have a subscription, unfortunately you'll have to find an alternate method of obtaining this figure. Until next time,